Greetings. I'm sure all of you know me. I'm film critic M.A. Moreno of Laserdisc Reviews.
And the balcony is closed.
Bargain Reviews.
Count on it!
And you might be wondering, what am I doing here and where is this place? This interdimensional trader named Zamir, who's a mutual friend of mine with the Arkansas Anime Guy, he said, you know, you're always doing these film reviews with these normal human critics. Why don't you expand and do something with someone, I don't know, superhuman? So he suggested maybe I should get together with Superman himself in the Fortress of Solitude and film a multi-part review of the Superman film series. Well, I thought, why not? So I come to the Fortress of Solitude, and guess what? Zamir, in his idiocy, accidentally sets off a device that sends me here. This is the Phantom Zone, which is not a good place to be, trust me. But don't worry, I'm going to get us through this, and I guess since I'm trapped here and don't know whether or not Superman will be able to get me out of here, I might as well leave my last will and testament, which of course must be a film review. So, first, let's look at Superman the movie from 1978. DC Comics had been trying to get their product back out in popularity. They had had the success of the 1950s Superman television series with George Reeves, and of course the 1960s brought the huge success of the Batman television series with Adam West. Of course, that was very much a parody. We get to see more from DC coming out in the 1970s, including the Wonder Woman television series, which did take itself more seriously than the Batman television series, and shows such as Super Friends animated series that put the big three, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, in the public's eye. Now was the time for a big budget superhero movie to prove the legitimacy of the material. A big summer blockbuster, much like Jaws or Star Wars before it. And the Salkinds, Alexander and Ilya, were determined to put out this product and make it a huge success. They got big names like Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman. And they also found a new star to be in Christopher Reeve, who they felt truly captured what they were looking for in a Superman. The film's credibility was also raised by the casting of actors such as Margot Kidder of Black Christmas in the role of Lois Lane, and Ned Beatty, the man who was raped in Deliverance. It was also necessary to have a great director, and that's where we bring in the director of The Omen himself, Richard Donner. Donner was hired to direct both Superman 1 and 2, which were written as one large script by Mario Puzo himself. Yes, the man who brought us The Godfather. Donner's approach to the material was the same approach he had to The Omen, to give it as much of a verisimilitude as possible, to ground it in reality so that the unreality, the fantasy, would have more impact on the audience. In fact, the first words uttered by Marlon Brando in the film are, "This is no fantasy." To accomplish this goal, he brings in Tom Mankiewicz, who is best known for his work on scripts for the 1970s James Bond films, which were totally lacking verisimilitude. But unlike there, he actually made great contributions to these scripts. So production began on both Superman and Superman 2. But the way it would work out, Superman 1 would be completed and Superman 2 would be left to be finished after the release of the first film. This would cause trouble later, but we'll get to that when we do. Superman the movie is exactly what you'd want in a big, epic, blockbuster film, and in a great adaptation of the source material. It treats Superman with respect, while still keeping a good sense of humor to make the film entertaining. It approaches all the different eras of his life in different ways, from the planet Krypton, which is treated with an almost Old Testament reverence, while Norman Rockwellism pervades Smallville, and the world of the Daily Planet is very much one of modern-day New York City, circa 1978. The scope of this movie is really what makes it work. The effects still are fairly impressive today, considering the limitations. This was really pushing the boundaries of what could be done. The acting is overall very, very good. There's great chemistry between the characters, great scenes. Overall, a very impressive movie. If the film has any flaws, they come in the third act. Since this was written to be essentially the first part of a two-part story, the confrontation with Lex Luthor does seem to have its limitations and isn't quite as strong as it should be. And the tacked-on ending, which was originally intended for Superman 2, but was moved up by the request of producer Pierre Spengler, really does feel a bit out of place. However, despite these flaws, for the most part, it is a very, very successful, very entertaining film, and I would highly recommend it. Hi, I'm M.A. Moreno, and this is another MAPSA, reminding you that you can always learn something from the movies. For instance, Superman the movie. You know, Kal-El likes to put on personas. He has his meek and mild reporter self, and then he has his confident superhero who everyone can believe in. But, guys, you don't have to put on a persona like Kal-El. Just be yourself, and that's what women will respect. Or, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm not judging if you're like into, you know, sheep. Yeah. Clark Kent's from Kansas. Sheep.